Hello, everybody. You don't want to watch me. You want to listen and watch Cathy. Hello, Cathy.
Hey Martin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Do you want to explain who you are, what you do, and then we're going to dive in and we're going to talk all things cool.
Definitely. Well, my name is Cathy Hakyl. I'm a virtual reality, augmented reality evangelist and speaker. I write for VR Scout, one of the main online publications for virtual reality. And I'm also starting to do some communications work for the VR AR Association.
Interesting. Excellent. So this is early days. So as I record this, we're at the end of 2016. So let me fire away. What is happening, Cathy, in the VR, AR, MR space? Do you want to explain what all that means to start
Yeah,
with?
right. Let's start. Yeah, let's start by defining. Do you want me to define the terms?
Yeah, run with it.
Perfect. So virtual reality, the way I defined it, and by the way, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, I define them within a spectrum of technologies. I don't think that it should be one versus the other. So virtual reality, I would define it as a fully immersive experience that you have wearing a headset that can be digital or it could be a 360-degree video, but it's fully immersive. And by that, I mean that you're usually wearing a headset like the Oculus you have, and you're completely blocking out the real world. So you're completely immersed in this world where if you look up and down into the sides, it is completely a virtual environment. And you can sometimes interact with that environment. And like I said, it could be digitally created, or it could be a 360-degree video. So that's how I define virtual reality. Then you've got augmented reality, which is basically when you have the real world, but you have a digital overlay over it. So, Pokemon Go, I mean, I know a lot of us talk about it, but it really kind of was the gateway drug, let's call it the gateway drug into augmented reality, to really making augmented reality more popular, because augmented has been around for quite a while, as has VR. So it's when you have that real world, but there's a digital element that is overlaid. So when you have the little Pokemon, that's the digital element, or when you're able to scan a code and something pops up, that's a digital element. You're able to see it. And I think, the way I define mixed reality is when you're actually able to interact with that digital element and that element is able to interact with you. So that's kind of really what's coming down the line.
So with MR, so let's just touch on that. So with mixed reality, Project Tango.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
should we talk a little bit about that? What's Project Tango?
Yes. Project Tango was created by Google, and it is basically their foray into the mixed reality AR kind of world. And basically, there's a Google Tango tablet that came out last year for developers, and people could get it and start developing AR content for Google Tango. There's also the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro, which is the only phone really that is Tango enabled right now. We're going to be seeing more of those enabled. But some of the cool things that you can do with it are basically 3D scans. You can, create your own holograms. You can measure things. You can get a piece of furniture and kind of like click on it and kind of test it out in your living room before you even have it. So you can kind of walk around it, and it's a digital element, but you can walk around it and kind of see how it would look. And it tries to be as realistic as it can with the measurements. So Project Tango, I mean, I'm very excited about it. One of the things I'm starting to do, that I'm going to hopefully be doing in 2017 is to develop more for AR. So I come from a social sciences background, but I'm currently learning to code, and I'm starting to get more into developing content for, especially for augmented reality in my personal experience. So.
Fantastic. We're going to come on to the HoloLens in a little bit. So let me ask you, headsets. What's going on in the world of headsets in relation to VR and AR at the moment?
Definitely a lot. So, you within the VR spectrum, you've got the HTC Vives, the Oculus Rift, you've got the PlayStation VR, which are kind of like the higher end ones, and you've got the regular Google Cardboard, or the plastic ones like the Merge VR, which is really cushiony and nice. But there's also a few that are coming down the line that are eventually going to be able to do some VR and some mixed reality all together. There's a prototype out called the Bridge, already available for developers. It's kind of clunky though, because it's got the sensor out, and It's not that necessarily that great yet, but it's like I said, it's the first editions for developers, and then a regular version will come to folks that want to use it. And the cool thing with that one is that you can use your iPhone. A lot of the VR tech and AR tech is Android based. So if you have an iPhone and you really want to do a lot more with it, you can get one of these. That being said, you can put your iPhone in a Google Cardboard and it'll work perfectly. It's more like when you really want to do more immersive experiences and kind of a better VR experience. So
Awesome.
that's kind of on the VR front. Then on the AR front, there's just a lot going on. There's obviously big talk about Magic Leap, whether it is going to come to market. Magic Leap is the highest funded startup in the history of startups. It's based in Florida, not in Silicon Valley. They're really working with optics to create what they're calling the next computing platform. And, Lucasfilms has invested a lot of money, Alibaba as well. And there were some, articles that came out that said that, they weren't really ready for market, that it was a little clunky. I'm a believer in that they're going to bring something amazing to market. So there's something that there's the Microsoft HoloLens, which I'm a proud owner of, and it is truly a fantastic piece of hardware. Yeah. The more time I spend with this, the more in awe I am of the technology. So there's that. There's Aether, which also makes an amazing AR and mixed reality headsets. There's ODG. There's just a whole bunch of different brands. The Meta as well. I've tested the Meta, and it's quite impressive as well. So there's just a lot in the AR space as well. Pretty expensive, or if it's not expensive, you do have to be tethered. So, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of development in a lot of news, and a lot of development in the mixed reality front for sure.
Awesome. What do you think people should be paying attention to as a non-developer?
Mm-hmm. I think people should be paying attention.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
I think people should be paying attention to content and kind of thinking about it from two perspectives. One of them is that this is not only about gaming and fun videos. This is about, like Magic Leap puts it, the next computing platform. This is how we're going to interact with our computers, and how our children are going to interact. So it's probably going to be some type of wearable. It's not going to be as clunky as this. It's going to be something that's just going to be very fashionable, i.e. enter, spectacles, which I do have a pair, but I don't have them right here. So I think that's one of the things. And the other thing that I think content creators have to keep in mind is that eventually we're not going to be designing content for a flat screen. We're going to be designing content for immersive experiences that are fully 360.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that has to change in the mindset of the creator.
Yeah.
And I know you've experienced that with your 360-degree videos. So.
Yeah, and I think that what I've found is you want it to be a certain way. To get it that certain way, you got Cathy nodding there. I leave Cathy on screen, but you want it that certain way. The trouble is that either the cameras aren't necessarily, and this is for video now. For photos, I think we're well on the way. But I think for video, either the videos aren't good enough, or the environment's not good enough, or that our editing skills aren't good enough, and we don't do the graphics. And I think that one of the ones that's super cool ones was the Michelle Obama video, not the Obama one, but the Michelle Obama one that had the graphics in. Yeah, so that was cool because I just looked and went, okay, they are bringing really good quality graphics, like we were doing a 2D space, into that 3D and having like panels and all of this stuff around. And there's a reason for it to be in 360. I say 3D, I should say 360. But I think that what you and I are talking about is if people don't put their feet in, if they don't understand what is happening, then the river's flowing. Everyone who gets in the river is so far ahead because every point of contact. So for instance, let me fire some stuff at you, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now we're going to talk about favorite VR experiences, favorite apps. I'm going to fire a few from you. Let's start gentle. Let's start with Henry.
Oh, I love Henry. I mean, what's not to love about a cute little hedgehog that wants to hug people and no one can hug him? So yeah, no, and I love the talent behind Henry. Ramiro Lopez Dow, who used to work with Pixar. I'm a Latina, so I'm super proud of another Latino at this. He is doing amazing work at Oculus Story Studio. So I mean, hats off to what he's doing over there.
Yeah. So start with that. Okay, next one. We're gonna go Chris Milk within. And I'm a big fan of what they did. I think very early on, I still think they're amazing. But the very first one, Evolution of Verse.
I have not experienced that one. Can you believe that?
Not to shame you into not seeing that. That's one absolutely to watch. Yeah. That's one for you. Okay, let's go for the next ones then. I'll open it up. What are your top 3 experiences?
Well, I've done different ones that I've really enjoyed and some that have really impacted me. So maybe I can talk to that. I did one called Confinement from Riot News. I'm not sure if you've experienced it.
No, it sounds like it's going to be in a lift or in a hole or something scary.
No, it is actually, they filmed it inside a solitary confinement cell.
Oh, no, that's the same. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
that's what I heard about that one. I'm not rushing.
Pretty impressive. It's by Riot News, and I love what Riot is. Riot has been doing news in VR for a long time, in 360. You know, they're really amazing. They were bought by the Huffington Post. Basically, this experience puts you in that cell. And I mean, I was in there for probably 3 minutes, and I was completely claustrophobic. And that impacted me. I said, wow, I can't believe that a human being has to spend 90% of their day in this type of closed environment. It just really shifts you and puts you in someone else's shoes. So that's why I think that there's a big opportunity, let's say, to create empathy. You know, there's a lot of debate whether it can or not, but I believe that it is also. Then, I think a lot of people have experienced the Brookhaven experiment, which is the one with the zombies that are coming at you on the Vive. And that was pretty impressive for me because I know they're not real. I know they're not there.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
so
the elevator on, for me. Yeah. That one, I hate that. But it's amazing because I hate it. It's had that strong an effect. And don't get me wrong, I may say I hate it. It's still brilliant. And I still will show people. It just means that I'm not rushing back in, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to play it again. But it was real fear. Like my body felt real fear. So it just proves the point. I'll tell you, I mean, I just came back from New York and I went to the Ghostbusters hyper reality experience. That's what I call it. Mind blown. I mean, I've done all kinds of VR, I've done lots of AR. Oh my goodness. This is done by a company called Void, VOID, Void VR. And the hardware that they use is actually proprietary. So this is not an Oculus. This is not an HTC. Okay. This is something that they've created. The backpack they use is created by them. And literally they bring you into this, it's multiplayer, which is fantastic. They literally, you put everything on and then you go into you go in through a door. You don't actually see the room in real life. You see it in VR. And you walk into the space and all of a sudden you're fighting these ghosts. And I was with a friend of mine and I could see her. We were fighting the ghosts. We could feel stuff, like a little bit haptic vest kind of thing. But the cool thing is that you are actually, they make you go through a whole bunch of things. So even though you're in the same space, they make you go up an elevator. They make you cross a bridge. They make it where you feel that you're really in this experience. And I was just mind blown because I had never, ever experienced anything like that to that level that they've gone to. So I got a chance to talk to one of the guys from Void VR who was there. And he told me that, this is the type of, exhibit or, thing that they've created specifically for Ghostbusters. But in 2017, they're going to be focusing on creating a space where you can have different experiences, where it's not only tied to Ghostbusters. You could do, let's say you want to go in and you want to do the Ghostbusters, or you want to do the, Egypt hunt or whatever. But you're actually, you're not really moving within that much of a space, but it makes you feel like you're really going up and down elevator, but it just incredibly mind-blowing. Like when I was on the bridge, like you could feel it going like this. You could feel the wind. It was just, and they call it a 4D experience because it is, hyper reality is 4D, winds and then spat from the, taking it to a different level. And it was just, I mean, if anyone's ever in New York, it's the best $55 you're going to spend because there's nothing like that out there just yet.
Wow. So. Awesome. Okay. Let's talk a little bit. What do you think about HTC Vive controllers in particular and Oculus with the touch? Conceptually, if you've tried the Vive, I don't know if you've tried touch yet, but
I haven't tried the touch. I've been reading a lot about them. I was invited to Oculus 3 where they gave touch away for a lot of people, so I was like, I missed that. But I love the fact that the HTC has had the controllers for a long time.
Yeah.
I have heard amazing things about the Oculus Touch, so I'm excited. I can't wait to try them. I know you have a pair and they're really mind-blowing. So I'm really excited. I am looking forward to the day though, especially in AR. In AR you can already, with certain headsets, and I can't really tell you which ones, you can already manipulate things with your hands. With the Microsoft HoloLens, you can kind of do certain things. There's certain motions that you use, but there's already some headsets that you're actually able to kind of grab things in a
let's
very
talk about
strange
that without stepping on your NDA, which is
yeah.
right. So leaving that aside, so one of the cool things I think with the touch, and now you're saying in AR as well, which is where we start to go across into this principles territory as opposed to the technology. It's like what we're able to do. One of the things that is mind blowing, and that got me with the Oculus wrist touch, which is called Oculus Touch, is you can pick things up and you hold them and you can turn them around and you can put them in place and things like this. So what you're saying is that in AR as well, potentially in time, we're going to have, not that long, we're going to have the same ability to be manipulating 3D objects which are in our view with our hands. This is what people have to understand is touch is a genius name, actually. But you have to realize it's the sense of touch.
It's haptics.
That's what they've given.
It's
it isn't
haptics.
just you see your hands. It's a sense of touch, and it's amazing.
Sense of touch, and eventually AR and VR are going to kind of like encompass all our senses, because touch is one of the things that has been missing, definitely from VR. And I mean, there's obviously startups working on the haptics for you to be able to put on a glove and feel when you're in VR, or your body. So I think that the haptics are one of the biggest things that are going to come, especially when it comes to business, and shopping. For example, if I'm going to shop in VR, I'm going to have to be able to feel,
the textures of the clothes,
texture, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to have to be able to feel. And I think I think that that's something that we're going to see. For it to really become that place where you go shopping and everything, you're going to have some type of haptics where you're able to feel, or at least, potentially smell. I mean, that's a lot more complicated, obviously. But yeah, so.
Well, awesome. Okay, let's do one. We've got favorite VR books.
Oh gosh, Robert Scoble, Shell Israel, AI and Art, that just came out. Oh my, I got a preview of it, and I know you did too before it came out, and I devoured that book. I think that these are two men that really have the pulse on the industry, and yeah, I cannot say enough. I teach in Europe. I teach in Spain and Italy, and it's going to be required reading for my students, because it is so. I really think every business school or every entrepreneur should read this book. And I'm not just saying it because they're my friends. It's because it really, truly is a fantastic read. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. So talk about Scoble and Shell Israel. It's Shell Israel, isn't it? Shell Israel. So, they've been working together for a long time, haven't they? So they talk about VR, AR, AI. Now, let's talk about AI within this context, because for some people, they may be looking going, what's that got to do with it?
Oh,
so what are your thoughts around that?
To do with it. Well, I'll give you an example. When I put my Microsoft HoloLens on, I talked to Cortana. So Cortana's in here, and she's helping me do stuff. And I talk to my HoloLens, and I tell my HoloLens a lot of stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. But it comes together. In order, and I think this is an interesting point that the book makes. In order for VR, AR, kind of whatever you want to call the spectrum, to be successful, it has to come with AI, because it is kind of like bringing these two technologies together to create the best user experience and the best experience for applications in health and for things that are going to benefit us in the long run. So it totally has to do, one has to do with the other.
Yeah. So. Cool. Now, I'll tell you what should we do. Should we jump onto Skype?
Yes.
So let me just do a little wrappy up bit here, and then we'll jump to Skype and do that bit, yeah? So the wrappy up bit.
Oh, you know what? I could actually, because we're on Hangouts, so I could potentially put the headset on and call you on Skype. The only question is whether we could do. We just need to mute this.
Otherwise, we'll probably get a lot of
Yeah, we
feedback.
would have to mute this, and then it won't be a problem from my end because I'll be going from 2 cameras. You'll have to decide which camera you.
Oh, see,
you
well, let's
keep.
try.
So.
But let me then, whilst we're going to do that bit, so just to make sure it's nice and clean and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, let's do it. Go, let's roll with it.
All
You're
right.
in charge. Come on, let's do it. I'll probably just have to mute myself. Look at this.
So it went to sleep because it goes to sleep if you don't use it. So okay, it's saying
my
hello.
Skype's on away, so now I'm going to turn it on.
And I look funny. See, like I have this on and I'm actually seeing you, so it's cool. So I'm gonna wait for it to wake up a little bit.
Cool.
There we go.
I see it. I see flashing lights.
Yes. Perfect.
Oh, see, crazy cool.
Okay. Select. Select.
Would you like to provide feedback to help improve HoloLens?
No, not really. Hello?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Select.
I'll try again another time.
Yes, Cortana. She's asking me for my feedback.
Yeah.
Can you hear her?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn the volume up a little bit more. So now my Skype's opening up, and I'm going to call you through here. And what you're going to be able to see is everything I'm seeing. So if I walk around, you're going to be able to see that, and you're going to be able to like we're going to be able to doodle together as well. All right, Martin. So I'm calling you right now.
Okay, I shall answer. Hold on. Okay, so I'm answering on Skype.
Uh-huh. What do you see?
I see lots of me.
Yeah, I'm seeing a window right here with you, and then I'm seeing my screen. So if I walk around and, please, I do have 3 kids, so there's a bit of a mess, but let's walk around. So you're going to be able to see, let me take my headset off. So, yeah, and we're going to, if you're going to see, like, we're going to walk around. I'm going to take you guys outside. So you're able to kind of show people what you're doing. So this is kind of like our front yard. So yeah, you're able to see kind of what I see. Okay, I see you right there. And you can actually take a picture. Like see, I'm talking to you, but there's stuff in the back. So, and I'm going to turn that off. For example, I can click on Doodle. And I can write here, select. So you see I'm doodling. So, and we can share stuff. For example, we can there's OneDrive. We can share stuff. You can send me stuff. I can have arrows pointing at what you need to look at. You can pin. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. So this is very collaborative. This is going to be very, very collaborative for when you're working with businesses. So yeah, so it's pretty impressive that we're able to do this. Let's say you are working on some type of project and you need to show someone, or for you yourself, So yeah, I mean it's pretty impressive. All right, can you see what I'm seeing right now, or no? Do you see the menu? No. Okay. All right. Let me get out of here. All right.
Hello, welcome
All
back.
right.
So let's talk a
I
little
am back.
about this.
Hold
So
on. Headphones.
the HoloLens is a Microsoft. Oh,
All right.
let's put
I'm
it
back.
back. The HoloLens is a Microsoft product.
Yes.
So what are they imagining the use cases? You say about working and collaboratively.
Mhm.
I know that people could be thinking about when there are, for instance, designers that are working on product, and they can be, other sides of the planet pointing at something. You could have engineers that are saying that let me show you the fault, and seeing through the eyes and seeing the person's feedback, and the person on the other end be able to display things to them like a blueprint of something or what have you. What else, if you paint a picture, what do you see, think is the applications?
Because right now, like when I'm seeing you, I'm seeing a flat screen. I'm seeing a 2D element when I see you. But eventually, I'm going to be able to hologram you in.
Right.
And you're going to be able to hologram me in. So we'll be kind of in the same space.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting, from a CEO perspective, CEO speaking to, his corporation, from medical perspective as well.
Yeah.
Let's say that there's a very tough surgery or something going on, and for some reason they don't really know what to do, and they need to call an expert. This is going to be one of the ways where the expert's really going to be there, kind of in that way. So there's just a lot of ways that it's going to be used. So the more I play with it, the more my mind gets blown at. I put a video up on Facebook, and I think you saw it, of the heart. I download one of the apps that has one of the hearts that shows you all the different stages of the healthy heart towards like a heart attack. And I mean, I had a heart floating here. I could walk around it. Can't touch it right now, but pretty impressive. It's going to have huge implications from an education, from a medical, even from a military perspective. I know people don't want to talk about that, but yeah, it's going to. This is really changing the way we're going to consume content. So
yeah, awesome. I tell you what, let's jump back because I think it's really fun. What are your favorite apps, all in all? If you were to give a few that everybody's got to try, not necessarily just for the experience, but just for your favorite things.
Oh yeah, well, I would say there's one on the on the HoloLens, and I know not everyone's going to have access to it, but it's super fun. It's called ActionGram, and you can actually have like holograms of people, and it's just a lot of fun. You can have George Takei like sitting on your on your couch. It's just fun to play with. I think I really enjoy that. The Holo Tour, which is another one that HoloLens has, that takes you it takes you to Rome, or it takes you to Peru, and I think that, and they demoed this a little bit when they're on stage in October doing announcements. I think that's going to be pretty amazing. And by the way, what is coming from Microsoft is going to be pretty interesting, because they're coming to market. Basically, when you're developing for HoloLens, you're developing for Windows Holographic. That's what it's called. And what's going to happen next year is that we're going to, Microsoft partners are going to come to market with $300 VR and MR VR headsets that some might have some MR in them. So that is going to be amazing. I don't know if it'll be the same quality as an Oculus or an HTC, but still very competitive pricing, and you can run them on a PC that's not a gaming PC. It has to have certain specs, but still not as expensive as a full-on gaming PC. So that's going to be exciting. And what I was getting to is that with the Holo Tour takes you around the world to different locations. It's going to be truly exciting to be able to kind of experience that. I love that. I love UVisit. I think it's a lot. UVisit is one of the most downloaded apps. I highly recommend people to test it out. They do a lot of 360 video, and they're doing some amazing stuff as well. I like Zumba. I personally like Zumba a lot. So they have a Zumba experience that they recorded with the CEO of Zumba. So that's kind of fun. They also have one with Rashida Jones in the International Refugee Committee for Refugees, that they did in Syria, which obviously, we all know is kind of in the news, and just a horrible situation over there. So that, for creating awareness, I think, putting yourself in the refugees' shoes kind of thing. So those are some of the ones I love. I also love, this is a very simple one, and anyone can watch this one on their phone, on their iPhone, if they put it into a cardboard. or they can go more high end. It's called VR Noir.
Oh, yep.
I loved it. I mean, some people hate it. I found it quite enjoyable and fun.
And it's an interactive storyline, isn't it? That's the thing with that. Is you engage in the storyline.
Choose your own adventure.
There you go. Yeah.
I also enjoyed and this is available on the Samsung Gear VR and Oculus. Invisible. It's a whole series. Pretty fun to watch. Created. It was created with Lexus. It's co-branded with Lexus, but it's not really about Lexus. It's about a story of a family and blah blah blah. So scripted. That was kind of fun. And yeah, I just think that there's a lot of amazing stuff that's going to be coming out in the next year or so. So
awesome. Would you like to tell everyone, Cathy, where they can find you?
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. Find me, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Feel free to connect with me there. Also,
spell your name. Spell your name.
Spell my name. CathyHakyl. Cathy Hakyl. So you can go to cathyhakyl.com. I'm actually currently revamping my website. But yeah, you guys can connect with me on social. And it's Cathy Hakyl, not Cathy Hack. I'm like, no, I'm not a hacker. So it's really funny. I get that sometimes, and I'm like, no.
Awesome. So Cathy Hakyl, and you've got some cool things coming, which we're going to link in the description as well. Mm-hmm. So we're having your website.
Yeah, go to my I will be launching a course. It's for social media marketers or people in the marketing space that want to learn a lot more about VR and AR, and I kind of take them in and kind of really show them what's going on, and even do a little bit of information on Unity and how to get started if you're really trying to grasp how massive the shift in this technology is. So
awesome. Yeah. Hang around for a minute. Thank you so much, Cathy. Absolutely awesome.
Thanks, Martin.
Well, watch this explode over the next year.
For sure.